Everyone's talking about UFOs and aliens, and for the first time ever, the US government is actually investigating whether members of the government are working on a secret program regarding UFOs.
Oh, so this is exciting times, right?
It's very exciting, but there also might be a little hoodwinking going on.
Taboo News Tuesday!
Former intelligence official David Grush has testified before the House Oversight Committee, accusing the U.S. government of illegally hiding information from Congress about a secret spacecraft retrieval and reverse engineering program. Grush previously worked for the Defense Department's National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, where he analyzed UFO data. Now, he says the US government has retrieved alien vehicles that crashed or landed on Earth and non-human biological material.
Okay, before we get into all this stuff that you're about to talk about here in this video, how do you feel about it? Do you think they're really aliens?
Well, I'm not delusional to think that we're like the only people out there, but I think the timing of all this is super interesting. I mean, Roswell, New Mexico, the claims that there was a crash there like in 1947, have been around forever. People have thought about this conspiracy theory and talked about it, and the government hasn't seemed very interested. And in 2017, the Navy released 3 videos showing some kind of UFOs flying around, and then a year later, or a little bit over a year later, they launched the Space Force. This seems a little bit like that. The timing, the budgets, it's all coming together.
So you're smelling something fishy.
Something fishy, but yes, I do believe there are aliens out there. I just don't know that they're here right now.
You're skeptical of why the government cares.
Exactly.
So why did this guy Grush come before a Senate committee for this? Like, what was the official reason?
Well, on paper, he says that he learned about this program and that he, interviewed like 40 different people who say that they are familiar with this program, this shadowy program. But again, I think that he might be doing it at the behest of someone in the government to get everybody to care so that we can line the coffers with more money for the Space Force.
So he had a lot of interesting things to say. How credible do you think that this guy's claims were?
Well, Tyson, we probably will never know because the Pentagon denies the allegations, and if this program does exist, or if it did exist, any information about it will be classified. Now, again, this is notable that Grush's revelations come alongside the 2024 Space Force budget proposal, which asks Congress for a whopping $30 billion in funding for the newly launched 6th branch of U.S. Armed Forces. Modernizing the military and launching an entirely new division isn't cheap. Why do you think politicians from both parties are uniting on the issue? They can't agree on healthcare or affirmative action, but they can always agree that we need more money for war, this time in space. And what better way to get people to reach deep into their wallets than claim that aliens are here? Look, maybe the aliens are here, maybe they're not here. Maybe the unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UFOs, spotted by our military are just foreign drones.
Okay, so does this constitute kind of conspiracy theory type of concept here, what you're saying?
Am I a conspiracy theorist? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Tyson. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay. All right, well, then hypothetically.
But I'm going to call it, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's an analysis of information.
Okay, so according to this analysis that you're giving me right now, what do you think that the Space Force needs all this money for?
To kick ass and train astronaut soldiers. The day Grush testified about UFOs, a separate hearing was held to consider President Joe Biden's nominee to lead the U.S. Space Command, which is, our space military. During the hearing, the nominee, Lieutenant General Stephen Whiting, said, quote, "Our top threat is the growing Chinese counter-space capabilities, both from reversible threats like jamming all the way up to direct ascent, anti-satellite, and laser capabilities. This is important because it shows how modern-day space is a theater for conflict and how some of that proposed $30 billion might be spent. Now, if you think becoming a Navy SEAL is tough, becoming an astronaut is even tougher and more expensive. It takes many years of school and mission training. In fact, NASA requires its astronauts to have at least a bachelor's degree, preferably in engineering, science, medicine, or math. Many astronauts also have a master's degree or PhD. Astronauts have to be in great physical shape and in good health. And according to NASA, they only accepted 330 people out of 44,000 applicants into the astronaut candidate program back in 2009. So it's very hard to do this, and they need a lot of money and they need the public to get behind this.
Okay, so astronaut soldiers is going to be a thing soon.
Yes, and unfortunately, soldiers, they're not diplomats. Diplomacy on Earth is hard enough. Diplomacy in space will be absolute anarchy without a legal framework. Our military is ramping up efforts to combat adversaries in space, and there is no international treaty to prevent an arms race beyond Earth. Complicating things even further is the fact that it's not just nation states competing up there anymore. Private corporations are also operating in space.
Like, what are these companies even going to be doing there?
Their commercial activities range from mining resources to setting up space tourism, providing Earth with internet and telecom services, and even trying to create colonies, set up moon bases, and even settle on Mars.
I didn't know you were going there. All right. So hypothetically, if Space Force is trying to get funded so they can go up in space, but they're using the aliens as an excuse to get the money, but they go there and there are no aliens, what are they doing?
They're up there trying to compete with their adversaries just like they do here on Earth. So they're enemies, just like in Russia or China. There are all kinds of activities up there spying on each other's satellites, potentially capturing satellites, messing with each other's internet and GPS capabilities. I don't know. But what if they go up there and there are aliens?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to compete with the aliens. Their technology is going to be way better than ours.
The 1967 internationally recognized Outer Space Treaty says governments can only use space for peaceful purposes, and that no one can claim it because it belongs to all mankind. But today, only a few people have access to the cosmos, and you better believe they're gonna fight hard to dominate it. UFOs and aliens may be the least of our worries.
Well, actually, I think UFOs and aliens might be a big problem, but that's just my analysis.
Guess we'll find out. They're gonna come someday.
Might be sooner than you think.
I might be an alien.
We might be doing that story next.
For more taboo news topics, click the box right here, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Brigida.
Taboo News Tuesday!